This is London. You will now hear a statement by the Prime Minister.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note. I have to tell you now, this country is at war with Germany.
We talk a lot of Battlefield 5 today. What's good with it, what's not? And there are some reasons to believe that this game, however the fact it delivers something different in small ways and funny details, it tends to reach a low bar when it comes to how good it really could be. In this video, I am going to go a little bit deeper and try to talk about the small details. Details already pointed out by some YouTubers, but sometimes we all need a little bit of a reminder, don't you think? I'm gonna draw references to the game with other titles in the Battlefield series, especially the two more recent titles, Battlefield 1 and 4. According to me, those are the two of the best first-person shooters released in the series of Battlefield. Before I move on, I have to announce that this is an opinions video and an opinion only. Everybody has the right to think what they believe in. Okay?
Okay.
First, I wanted to discuss the weapons. Throughout the history of Battlefield, there has always been a huge number of weapons and equipment to the disposal of the player. The numerous customization opportunities and possibilities to evolve with the gameplay, styling your character, making sure that you will have the right prerequisites to enter a full-on match of 64 v 64 on Conquest, Grand Operations, or similar. Now, this is not a newsflash for the veterans of Battlefield. It's expected. It's needed. It must be there for the veterans to recognize the game and say, this is Battlefield. In a way, Battlefield 5 delivers this in two ways, both when it comes to character and weapons. You can style your gun in a way that would make even a COD fanboy happy, picking a skin with golden handles, ACOG and red dot sights, which destroys the historical accuracy, by the way. And together with that, an outfit that allows you to style how you want to look on the battlefield. I'm taking a straight guess when I say this. This is for the younger fans of Battlefield, not the veterans. Now, of course, some veterans enjoy a golden MP40, smashing his or her way, keeping the squad alive and providing some awesome fire and intensity. But are they that many? Perhaps they've grown, I don't know. I could be dead wrong on this question. Are you a veteran and like golden MP40s or that customizations? What do you think? Leave a comment, it would be interesting to know the fact. And how long have you been playing Battlefield? That's also interesting. They also can show the fans a little bit more when you can choose different appearances to certain guns. So you will have different looks on them, like the barrels on the SMGs and how about my look? Look at this. This is my Gewehr 43. I like this a lot, and it gives a little bit more authentic look according to me. This is something that is an improvement from Battlefield 1's skin system, when you only could choose a full skin and you had to deal with it. Now, don't get me wrong, because some of the skins were pretty badass, and even I enjoyed my golden BAR and how it looked when I used it countless times during my days of Battlefield 1. It has a lot more to give when being able to style your weapon, using different skins to mix and match your way and really creating something that says you. And I think this was something that DICE really concluded and said, we need this. An idea, though, that came to my mind was to change the way your character could carry a weapon. Let's just say you're right-handed, but you want to see how it looks when a soldier is left-handed. An option to this would tempt me to test it, just to make sure that I have a unique setup of characters in the game in different classes. Let's just say, like a left-handed sniper, say, Private Jackson from Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, whom was a left-handed sharpshooter, and wouldn't that be something to give to the fans? I think so. It would be pretty awesome to see. It's a small detail, and the small details really show the character of some games. And that detail could be the difference between you remembering a game or not. Like the things in Battlefield 4 that I miss the most of all, actually, when it comes to customization. You could customize, but to a price. Even though you can see on some weapon perks that you will have a negative effects when choosing something in Battlefield 5, it is not obvious when it comes to the customization. Like if I put on this forehand grip on this gun, would it devastate the recoil, or would it change the accuracy, the hip fire? You could see this easily accessible on Battlefield 4, and whereas the great system that was ready to be put and used and evolved into the new Battlefield, it somehow just got forgotten. It's not there. I mean, Battlefield 5 is the return of real Battlefield, which is the legacy that started with 1942, together with the expansions Road to Rome and Secret Weapons of World War II. These are expansions that I myself played, enjoyed, and loved. Battlefield 1942 was the first game that I really loved when it came to World War II first-person shooters on multiplayer. It was really awesome. But moving on, this is something that I miss, and I think that Battlefield 5 and DICE, somehow you just forgot this. Have you ever thought to look back and wanted to bring this in? If you have, it is interesting to know why you didn't do this. Maybe the information is out there, let me know in the comments if I missed it, but it is something that I would like to see. Moving on, and now we'll speak about weapons here and there and here and now, but I see a huge difference and I'm a little bit worried in the development of this, but we'll see where we end up. Obviously, the game is not finished, and we'll get to that later on in the video as well. Now, the first issues that I find interesting in the weaponry section is the lack of weapons. We see different varieties of weapons in the different classes, but I just feel like, why so few? Where are the rest? Is this enough, really, for a start? How are the weapon disposal going to take place as we progress through time? When will we see new weapons and how many? And so on. Let's just keep going. Ask myself, why do I have two Webley revolvers in my layout? There's no difference between them, but yet they're still there. Why do I have two of them? I can't use both at the same time. Now, DICE hasn't been the best at delivering information generally when it comes to this, and even though we have an upcoming update with a new chapter 2, Tides of War, and so on, sadly, I haven't seen any information that it's going to be new weapons or maps. If there's going to be new weapons, which ones are coming? Maps? Are they going to get any maps, or are we going to get any maps later on? Just, where's the information? Ask yourself, where's the information? I've searched broad and wide and I can't find it. If you have the information, help me out, help a brother out, help the community out. And I do know that we're going to get new game modes and different changes, all according to the forums and threads that the developers use to get information from the gamers. Now, this is something that always will impress me. They listen to the community more often than never, and I want to say kudos to DICE. Keep it up. Never stop doing this. This is something that you're really good at. There are, however, some question marks. Like, why do we have a Kubelwagen and not a Willys Jeep in the game? And I know people are gonna say, well, that's an American Jeep. You can't put that on the British side, you know. That is not allowed. Well, let me tell you something. You people actually think this. I know you're few, but listen to me. I know that's an American vehicle, but so is the Allied half-track, the M1 carbine, the Liberator BB gun. Seriously, that gun, piece of shit. And it takes forever to reload. Really? Does it do that in real life? I want to know. Most of the uniforms in the character customization, American-based. Model 8 semi-auto, M1907 SF, the Colt M1911, the Tommy gun, the 12-gauge, the 1897 pump shotgun. So, why don't we get the Willys Jeep? Just why? I want to know. The Kubelwagen is there. And why I ask this is because at least give us a Land Rover if we're going to fight the Afrika Korps in this game, and they have fucking Kubelwagens, we can't get a Land Rover like the SAS used during the raids in the desert. This is known fact. This is not something new in history books. They used these, and they were pretty cool. They were called Pink Panthers, I believe, by a friend of mine who told me, because they painted them pink to make them pretty much invisible during the night, because it blends so well with the sand surface during the night. I don't know the specifics, but it's pretty sure it's something to do with that. Now, from time to time, I realize that this is not about historical accuracy, and that is true. I've never blamed DICE for this. I think it's pretty much, it is a funny way to do a game, and it gives you a lot more. But still, there's so much that is missing. Talking about historical accuracy, we can go on to the fact that the British didn't fight the Afrika Korps until 1941, and the Tiger tanks didn't reach the front line until 1943. So just give us the Willys Jeep now. And when I know that you're going to, so just do it, please. And how do I know? Because they have to. It is a part of the war. Otherwise, they wouldn't give us the Tiger tank. And also, while I'm at it, I'm quite a good mood of ranting right now. Standard issue grenades. What is up with this bullshit? All of a sudden, I'm giving a game that doesn't allow me to choose what kind of pineapple or potato masher I want to use for my class. Now, simple question here is why again? And even though I've heard there's a theory that the grenade spam issue is something to do with this, I seriously doubt that. We have the nutrition system to phase out the grenade spam, so I don't believe this. On the other hand, I haven't seen a map that is a typical clusterfuck like Operation Locker or Fort Vaux yet. I bet we're going to see it in the future, and I hope so, because I like those maps very much. And going back to Battlefield 4, there's a lot for the developers to maybe consider. I mean, this is one of the more freedom-letting systems ever created when it comes to characterization and using weapons and equipment. And I know that a lot of veterans from Battlefield 4 think this, and many of them had the hope that this would return when Battlefield said we're going to do it from the beginning again. And since the Battlefield 1 choosing system wasn't the best or the favorite one, giving a little thought, I actually prefer the Battlefield 1 system rather than the Battlefield 5. It just feels incomplete in some way, like there's something missing. The details, the freedom of making your class one of a kind, making it possible to choose if you wanted to have a carbine or a DMR for your assault class instead of the selected assault weapons. Now, I don't really see that this would be some kind of an obstacle for Battlefield 5, since the weaponry from World War II was bigger than World War 1. Still, there's more weapons in Battlefield 1 from the beginning. Really, just have a count. Count them all and see. It's going to be a lot more. And I question this because how and why? Now, going a little bit deeper, problem with this situation is that we only have one part of the game coming out. At the release, they said that we are going to have only 2 factions fighting each other. And fine, that's how you want to develop it, sure. But some of the weapons that I miss isn't even there, and I'm wondering, are these weapons ever going to come back? Instead, we're getting weapons like the Ribiroli, the repeater pistol in 1912 that I don't know anybody used in Battlefield 1. A couple of them, sure. And I liked it too, honestly. But I didn't overused it. Now I tend to use the Luger pistol or the Colt, because those are the classic weapons. But the freedom of choice, isn't that what Battlefield is about? And I know that this situation with only one part, it reduces the possibility to the max, but in fact, that is the truth. But it is annoying. It just doesn't feel finished in my eyes. Such as one pistol in mind when we talk about guns that aren't there and probably never will turn up. It's the Walther PPK. For those of you who are a bit aged and know something about James Bond, this is the iconic James Bond pistol. A few of you perhaps know that this pistol was a police weapon for the Germans before and during the war, and it was actually used by a lot of officers in the German army during the war as well. And another question mark is the katana. Might be pronouncing that wrong. That is the samurai sword that was shown to us in the reveal trailer. Will we see that in the game? I do hope so, because if you put that in there just to tease us and not put it in the game, that is just cruel. That is teasing. I don't like teasing. Other weapons that wasn't included, well, I can go on and on this list, but just mentioning bazooka, Tilly car, that's also a vehicle that the British was using during the war, the Mosin Nagant, the SKS, the SVT-40, the M1 Garand, the Browning at 1919, the BAR, the CB-30 LMG, a Czech weapons, SMLE Mark III was used during the war as well, DP-28, the PP SH-41 and 43, Flammenwerfer, Panzerschreck, flamethrowers. I mean, Showshat, you have that in single player, but you don't have it in the multiplayer. What's up with that? M1917 Enfield, Springfield, the Beretta pistol. Now, I want to be clear. I understand why many of these weapons are not in the release, since it was the point of only having 2 fractions of the war given to us. But coming to mind and thinking one more time, why only 2? Was it so difficult to just give us a little bit more, like French and Polish fractions? Just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Would be nice. Just a little bit crunchy. Now, giving the thought of that and people maybe questioning why should we have that? Well, look upon the weaponry. We have a Finnish SMG, the KP-31 in the game, but no implications that the Winter War 39 and 40 is going to be put into the game. Perhaps we will get it in March, and I do hope so. After all, DICE said that they wanted to give more focus to the conflicts in the north, and which would automatically include Finland versus the Soviet Union in the Winter War, and perhaps the continuation war as well. We didn't get Norwegian troops though, even if we had fighting in Norway and the Norwegian rifle, the Krog Jorgensen. I put a very big question mark on that, because it would be nice to, like, I don't know, have a combination between British and Norwegian troops fighting in Narvik, trying to take back the Norwegian soil. I mean, British troops was the main force at Narvik, I understand that, but Norwegians, they tried to defend their country as well. They were not on their own. The British was not on their own when they're trying to take back Norway. Norwegians was there, French was there, Canadian troops, I think, might be mistaken, but there were a lot of different fractions. It just feels like I've been cheated on this. I know they said 2 fractions, the British and the German. But then they include battlefields that didn't really have that many fractions to play with. They have done something that feels like they're being counterworking themselves. We want to have 2 fractions only, but we choose battlefields that they didn't really fight on. Again, historical accuracy, blah, 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 blah. But still, it really creates the problem. That's the issue. It's like countermeasuring against yourself, really. And I just feel it is not completed. Although the detail system, I feel, is spot on when it comes to the classification of weapons and having rank system instead of only XP points, the lack of progression is somehow annoying, and another detail that I miss very much, like how good percentage on accuracy, kills, shot fired and so on. Now, this was put into Battlefield 1, but not anymore. I'm just wondering how come. Why aren't we seeing this? Is this something that you forgot and are going to put in later, or is it something that you just ignored and not going to put in at all? You just don't feel like it's important. I don't know. It's not that important to me, but it's nice to see. When I have a spare time and I don't play as much, maybe go in and see, okay, how am I doing with this gun? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Oh, maybe I should try this gun and see and compare. This is the fun part of Battlefield. You can compare different types of weapon and see how they work against each other. Now, in conclusion, I don't feel that this game was put together for a couple of years ago. It feels like it was put together in the last minute, and despite having a pre-alpha version, alpha and a beta, we still see the problems of glitches and difficulties of having a finished product. And I don't want to be a nitpick, but seriously, I thought we had reached further into the development, and maybe that's just me not knowing too much. And I have to say, and I want to say this, I have the fullest respect of developing team and their work. They are much more capable than I am, they know a lot more, and they have the experience. I respect them. I just feel a little bit let down many times when starting to compare and wondering if there shouldn't be more time given in gaming development, like when Battlefield 1 was released. It wasn't perfect for many, but when I bought it and played it, I thought it was the most complete game I've ever bought, because they had the time to do so. And honestly, given the glitches that occurred and are occurring at the moment in Battlefield 5, I sometimes wonder if the beta wasn't the better version of Battlefield 5 in many ways. Not at all, not in all, but in many ways. I know that Battlefield 5 has a lot more to give, and it will take time before the real summation can be given. But my first one, it's kind of disappointing. I just missed the details. Give me the details. Give us all the details. And don't you think so as well? What do you think? Do you think that details is a part of the game? What do you think is the favorite detail that you're missing? Do you want details at all? Leave a comment down below and share this video with your friends and foes. And please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.